it's always hard to talk naturally now you know you're being filmed.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, the resolution talks about election law. The question is, how many election laws do we have in America? Is there more than one law?
Yes.
Sure.
There's more than one law. Well, wait a minute. The resolution only says law. So is the resolution assuming that there's only one law? And the answer is what?
No.
No. The word law can be a plural. Okay? When you tell your kids, you should obey the law. Are you telling your kids, obey only one law?
No.
No. You're referring to the body of laws as law, right? So when we say we should reform election law, we're referring to a whole host of laws, a body of laws, right? So if you see all these individual little election laws together form one body that we call election law. It's really a plural, even though grammatically we don't say it that way. So if we're going to reform that entire body, there's several ways we can do it. We can abolish a law. We can abolish an existing law. We can amend an existing law. But what's the question? Can we add a law? Well, let's take an example. Let's say you got a car. You buy this cool car. And you say, I want to modify the car. So you go and you buy one of those spoilers, those air spoilers, and you mount it on the trunk. Have you modified the car?
Yes.
But wait a minute. I didn't change any existing structure in the car from when I bought it. What'd I do? I added on, right? I added on the spoiler. So you're telling me if I add on a spoiler to the car, I've modified the car. So you can modify something by adding on to it. So we can modify the whole body of election law by adding a law. That modifies the whole body of laws. Does that make sense?
So are you saying that adding a new law is reforming
Sure.
election law?
Did I reform my car?
Yes.
I bought this car. I didn't undo any bolts. I didn't take any part off of it. All I did is I added the spoiler in the back. Okay? I didn't delete anything or take anything away from the car.
So you'd be reforming the number of laws.
Well, I'm reforming the car.
Mm-hmm.
The car is different now than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully better with the air spoiler, right? So I've reformed the car. I've changed it. And it's really the definition of reform is change. I've changed the car, but I didn't have to modify an existing part or remove a part. That would have been reform too. But by adding a part, I can reform the car. So why not by adding a law, can you reform the body of laws?
Mm-hmm. And I will say one thing to the debaters. It really depends on your definition. If you want to add laws, then I would go out and look for definitions of reform that say change. And I would go out for definitions that have that wiggle room where you can add laws into it. Because debate is really, in and of itself, it depends on how you structure the debate around how you define your terms. So if an affirmative team or a negative team defines a debate round as only changing existing laws, and that's not refuted by other debaters, then that's how the debate round is going to go. The debate round is going to be only existing laws. But if you define the terms as we're able to add laws and we're able to do more than that, and you're allowed to establish that as in a debate round, then that will be what the debate round is. So research, look for some definitions, have multiple definitions with you, and don't really just get stuck on what is the common definition, but find definitions that work for you that allow you to add laws, and also have reasons for why that's a good definition. That's really what the definition debate is having a good definition and having ways to support that definition.
Great.
The truth of the matter is, I don't think you can find a definition of reform that would not include adding a law.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to look hard to find a definition that doesn't support this.
Yeah.
Your 99% of your dictionary definitions of reform say a change or a change for the better. Now, some will say add the for the better, others won't. But reform is just a change. So are we changing election law, the body of election law, by adding one?
You're increasing it or
The answer
decreasing
is
it?
yes. Yeah. So clearly you can add laws. You don't have to just remove laws or repeal or modify. You can add. And now, if we said resolved, the United States federal government should change Section 182 of U.S. Code, subchapter 3, paragraph 4, now you wouldn't be allowed to add other laws unless you also changed that one. but we're not saying we should reform or change a specific statute or section of code. We're referring to the body of all election law. And we know that grammatically because it says law. Election law. We know there's not just one election law.
Or if that was really the case, it would be worded existing election laws.
Well, there we go. Yeah, the framers of the resolution could have said reform existing election laws.
And they didn't. So, I mean, that obviously means something.